Hello and welcome. In this video we are looking at types of data. So data can be either numerical or categorical. Numerical, also known as quantitative, is data that consists of number values. So numbers like 2, 4, 7.8. Whereas categorical consists of categories, and that's sometimes referred to as qualitative data. So a data is numerical if it consists of numbers or if it is something we count or measure, and data is categorical if it consists of qualities or categories. For example, hair color would be a category, so it would be considered categorical data, whereas someone's weight would be considered numerical because it's a number. And once you know whether your data is numerical or categorical, it can be further split up. So if your data is numerical, it is either continuous or discrete. Continuous and discrete are both types of numerical data. Continuous data is data that consists of any values no matter what the number is. So that can include whole numbers or decimals. It is often data that is measured. For example, someone's height. As height can be any value and it can be a decimal. So your height could be 5.8 feet. So that's continuous data. If it is not continuous, it should be discrete. Discrete data is data that does not consist of decimals. Discrete data is only whole numbers. It is usually data that we count. For example, the number of people in a family. The number of people in a family is discrete data as it is only whole numbers. As your family only has 2 or 4 people or some whole number, it's not going to have 2.5 people. So that's the two types of numerical data there are, so continuous and discrete. For categorical, we have nominal and ordinal. Nominal data is data that is grouped, so in a category, but doesn't have a specific order to it. For example, eye color. As different people have different eye colors, say brown or blue or green, but there's no order to that group, but it's still a category. So if it's a category like eye color, it's categorical data, and since it doesn't have any order to it, it's nominal data. And if that data is not nominal, it must be ordinal. Ordinal data is a group that has a category, but also, unlike nominal, has an order. For example, different drink sizes, so small, medium, and large. These are categories, so we have the categories of small, medium, and large, but they're in order. So the order goes small, medium, large. Unlike eye colors, where the categories are blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, but there's no order to those categories. One thing I would recommend is copying this down just into your notebook or somewhere where you can quickly look at this chart and follow the steps. So first of all, is it numerical or categorical, and then is it this or that? That's pretty helpful until you can get these down into your memory. But to finish, let's look at 4 examples and see what type of data they are. So first of all, let's look at football team. What type of data is that? Well, football teams are not numerical as they're not numbers. They're categorical as there are different football teams, so they're the categories. But then is it nominal or ordinal? Well, is there any order to the football teams? There is not. They are just the teams. So, football teams would be an example of nominal data. What about the number of cars in a car park? Well, that's a number, so it's numerical. One thing I should mention though is some numbers can still be categorical. I'll give you an example of that for ordinal. But this type of number is numerical, and it is number of cars in a car park, and that is only whole numbers, meaning it is discrete. Next, let's say we have under 25 and over 25 age groups for some sort of sport. That is categorical because they're categories. We have the category of under 25 and the category of over 25. But these categories are ordered, meaning it is ordinal. So that's an example where you can have numbers for categorical. A postcode is a is an example of categorical data, as a postcode is classified as categorical and nominal. This is because the numbers in the postcode have no value to it. It's not measured or counted, meaning it's categorical, but it's not ordinal because there's also no order to it, as postcode is basically a location. Keep that in mind. There are some of the really tricky ones you may find yourself dealing with. But one tip if you're unsure is that if you can calculate the mean and it makes sense, then that data is numerical. So if you're dealing with numbers and you can calculate the mean, it is numerical. So if you calculate the mean of a postcode, say postcode 2489 or whatever the postcode is, when you get the mean, it's not going to make sense, as they are random numbers. They have no meaning to it, meaning it's categorical. So that's one tip if you're tossing up whether it's numerical or categorical. Finally, what type of data is weight? Well, weight is a number, and that number can have decimals, as it can be 40.5, 100.7, it can be any number, meaning it is continuous. And that's types of data. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing this video, and see you next time.